Joey, can you tell us a little about your airplane?
Okay, so it's the original PA-23, one of the like 800 left. It has the original round nose, and after a while they made it much pointier, which turned into the Geronimo, and then they added a smaller rudder, a pointier nose, and bigger engines and made it the Aztec. It's got the original giant tires because it was initially designed to be the bridge between competing with the early like Travel Air and Baron. So they tried to make it like the ideal business airplane. So what they did was they added a 4-seat cabin with seats in the back that slide forward and back, and then an optional 5th seat. So you can take the back row and slide it up and add a 5th seat. And in trying to make it save fuel and not realizing that there are people with high density altitude airports, they put 2 carbureted O320s on it with 150 horse each. The way that they made it climb with such tiny engines is it has the widest wing of any Piper ever made. So they're incredibly short, but they're incredibly wide. The width of the wing is insane. And then under it, they added these things, they're called jet augmenters. They don't really augment anything and they're not jets, but they eliminate the need for cowl flaps and also redirect all of the hot air from the exhaust downward, so it helps climb. It doesn't help our cruise performance at all, but what it is if you look in the back, all the exhaust pipes and manifolds shoot out through here so that it funnels all the hot air and all the air going into the cowl out the back and deflects it down. The original Pipers had 36 gallons a side in the mains and an extra 15 in the auxes. The original Apache also has a rudder that's about 3 times bigger than it needs to be. The benefit to that is 1, it's great in crosswinds, and 2, it's just fantastic on one engine. It doesn't perform at all, but it's very hard to get it to actually roll. So it's one of the few airplanes where if you have one engine feathered and one engine all the way forward, and you just pitch up, it'll almost always stall first. So if you're doing any sort of multi-training in it, which a lot of people do because it's cheap, you have to actually have the instructor block the rudder so that it runs out of travel so that you can have the VMC before it stalls. The other interesting thing is, and the owner got grabbed for this because an FAA inspector thought it was illegal, the data plate on the original Pipers is under the rudder, so it's not always visible.
Oh, wow, look at that.
That's another thing that grabs people.
Yeah.
The rudder trim tab is also just massive. So the goal was, and the way they designed it, and the reason they designed it that way, is so if you lose an engine, and you have one engine at full power and you're at VMC, you can run the rudder trim so far in one direction that you don't need rudder at all to keep it in a straight line with one engine out. Brilliant design.
That is a pretty good idea,
It was
actually.
a great design. It also has the original Piper baggage compartment, which you need a key to open. They changed it in the PA-28s. The newer ones don't require that anymore, so there's actually a push tab. But in the back here is where the 5th seat is. So you could either have a child climb through there and sit in the 5th seat, or get in. Instead of throttles being black, props being blue, and mixtures being red like they're supposed to be, it's red, it's weird red, and then black. So that's kind of confusing for some people. The flaps and the gear are on opposite sides. This one does have another nice mechanism to keep you from putting the gear up on the ground. You have to slide this tab over. So this will come up, and then you'll wait for the hydraulic pump to pump them down, and then when they go down, it snaps back into place. And same with the flaps. But if you turn the master on and the flap lever down, it doesn't do anything.
Oh.
Because they're hydraulic. So the hydraulic pump runs off the left engine. So if you shut down and feather the left engine, you don't get to have gear or flaps. So what you do is you put them in the position you want them in, pull this out, pull this handle out, and pump it. If that doesn't work, under the pilot seat, they added a second method. There's a tab that you pull apart, a little lever here. You take that ring, you push this down, and you pull it, and it dumps a giant CO2 canister that blows them down. If you do it wrong, and you forget to put this down first, it just blows out all the hydraulic lines, and you have to redo them. The other weird thing about Apaches, most twins have a manifold pressure gauge like this, where they're stacked on top of each other, and same with the tachs. The Apache is one of the only twins that has the original 2 individual tachometers. And if you put the flaps all the way down, you get 60 degrees. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. So you almost always only land with half flaps. The other weird thing that a lot of people don't see in twins is they're carbureted. So you have carb heat to pull. So one of the things that happens is if you lose an engine, a lot of times it's because of carb heat. So if you get into a carb ice situation and you pull the carb heats and only one of them works, you lose an engine. If you lose that engine, on the original Apache, you lose your hydraulic pump. If you lose that engine, you lose the alternator. So you either lose an electrical system or your hydraulic system, or your vacuum system. This one has a generator on both sides and a vacuum pump on both sides, so the only thing that's not redundant is the hydraulic pump. The heater is down here, and then you would turn the heater up as high or as low as you want it. and it was called a janitrol. It's a little canister up in the nose that has a spark plug that burns fuel from the right crossfeed line. Dan took it out because it's a bomb. It's literally just a fire with fuel in the nose, so a lot of people don't like that, so Dan took it out.
That doesn't sound like a great idea.
It's not a great idea. It's actually a horrible idea, and a lot of the times it'll flood, which causes issues because then it's just a bomb. The other nice thing about the Apache is the original glove box is huge, and you can put anything you want in it. Same with the cabin, you can put anything you want in it. I'm not short and still have plenty of headroom, and the back is just massive. It's the largest non-pressurized cabin Piper ever made. So your elevator trim is this one.
Yes.
And your rudder trim is the tiny one.
And how do you like it?
I love it. It's just fast enough to be better than really anything else with this fuel burn. It climbs amazing. Your blue line's just under 100 miles an hour, unlike a lot of the bigger ones, the Cessnas that are 120, 130, so you can land way shorter and you can take off way shorter. I've had 4 people in this in full fuel in July and been off in 1,000 feet. It is astonishing when it has 2 engines. And it's not lethal when you lose an engine because instead of rolling aggressively, it just kind of slows down a little bit. It's so gentle on one engine. It won't climb. It'll descend about 500 feet a minute up at 9 or 10,000 foot density altitude, but it's a safe descent. So I guess I would take that over a really aggressive plane that can climb.